Hey guys, welcome back to the Fool Show. Of course, I am Foolish Phil. Just watched Michigan defeat Oregon 80-76. Oregon 80-76. And man, I'm watching it in the other room, and my wife can hear me just muttering as Michigan just was like doing everything they could to blow this game. So many turnovers. She asked me, "You sure you should be watching that?" It's like, if you're that upset, maybe you should stop watching. I'm like, you have a good point. But I kept watching. Man, this team is frustrating. The first half was relatively pretty good. Michigan was up 41-36, I believe, 5-point game in the first half. You know, Cheddar came out. He led the team 17 points off the bench. Kudos to Cheddar on 6 of 9 shooting. Excellent there, right? The rest of the bench is 0. No one else had any points besides him off the bench. The bench seemed to be a little bit more narrowed down too. I know that Pippen came in and he had a turnover, and then he didn't play much of anything else for the rest of the game. Maybe in the post-game interview, Danny, oh boy, Dusty May, there we go, I was combining Wolf and the head coach, we'll just go with that. He was saying that he kind of maybe had guys play a little bit too long and they got fatigued. Maybe that's true, because the second half, Michigan just imploded. They were like 4 turnovers in 6 possessions, like 7 and 10 possessions or something like that. It was crazy. They had 5 in the first half, and they finished with 16 turnovers for the game. Some of them were just inexplicably crazy travels when you're just like driving to the hoop or going on a fast break. Gale had like 3 travels in the second half. He had a terrible offensive game. 1 for 5 shooting, only 8 points, and those points basically came from the free throw line. Trey Donaldson was 5 of 14 for the game. Danny Wolf was 5 of 14 for the game. Like, man, I don't know why they don't go to Vlad Golden more. He was shooting pretty well. Burnett was 4 of 9. So, I mean, yeah, Donaldson and Wolf kind of, when you're shooting just over a 33%, not that great. But man, just from basically the 16-minute mark of the second half for like the rest of the game, Michigan's offense was just putrid. Terrible. Trey Donaldson had like 4 turnovers. Wolf had several. Gale had like 3 or 4. It's like, man, what is going on with this? And I'm a proponent of, when things are going bad, call a timeout. I know early in the season, the head coach, I'm going to keep getting it messed up in my head, so sorry. But he, benched the whole starting crew because they were being so sloppy with the ball. I don't know why you don't bench Gale or Trey Donaldson. At least pull them out and give them a rest. I know Donaldson came out with, trying to get him a rest before the 12-minute timeout, and he came in before the 12-minute timeout even happened. He sat down for 30 seconds. Maybe that was just so the coach could kind of yell at him, what are you doing? But it's like those guys needed a break or a refresh or something, some penalty for being so careless with the ball. The turnovers they were doing were just, honestly, JV high school basketball was terrible, some of the things that were going on. So that allowed Oregon to come back into the game. They finished the game on, holding Michigan to, 6 points over 8 minutes or something. But the one saving grace for Michigan out of this whole thing was the free throws. They got Oregon into the penalty, and they were able to hit their last 7 free throws for the game. And that was a really big difference. So they get the 4-point win. Another big factor here, though, too. Even though Michigan turned the ball over a ton in the second half, Oregon didn't do a ton with it. In fact, Michigan outscored them, I believe, by 10 points. Yeah, 10 more points off turnovers, 25-15 for the game. Oregon had 12 turnovers, Michigan had 16. So Michigan was able to get 10 more points off those extra turnovers, which was really key. You get a turnover and they'd come down and just turn the ball right back over. It's so sloppy. But Michigan gets the win. This is really important too, because this is a game that's prime for Michigan, if you want to be honest. Oregon is coming all the way from the West Coast. They just played Nebraska, I believe, is on Sunday. and they have to come all the way out to the Eastern time zone. And so you get them at their most tired. Right now, Oregon is going to sit around and relax. I believe their next game is against Michigan State, if I understood a little bit. I might have that wrong, but I think they're playing Michigan State. So they get to just basically hang out in Michigan, get acclimated to the game, to the time zone, get ready for the game, just practice. Because you can do a little online school, but you're not going to go to classes or anything. And so, they can be ready for Michigan State or whoever their next game is, because usually when they come all the way from the West Coast out east, they're going to play 2 games before they head back. So it's really important that Michigan was able to squeak out this win against a team that's now lost 4 straight games. Oregon was, ranked, and now they're not ranked, and there's another loss for them. I believe last week they were 16th, and now they're unranked and throwing another loss. So Michigan got them just at the right time, and that's what it is so much too, right? It's when you play them, just for the sake of it. Michigan went out west, and they played USC and then UCLA and won both those games, right? And then, if you recall, UCLA's head coach rips his team and says they play with no heart, they're weak, and all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. Michigan State heads out there now, and for whatever reason, USC's playing a little bit better, beats Michigan State, and then UCLA beats Michigan State. So are both those teams probably playing better than they were when Michigan played them? Yeah, probably. Right? It's just when you play them. It's such a big key part of your season. Oh, what to take away from this game? This is just what Michigan's going to be this year. I don't know. They're just too careless with the ball, and that's going to be their detriment whenever they lose. Well, hopefully, obviously, they'll make a deep run in the Big Ten tournament. Hopefully, then March Madness, that'd be cool to make at least the second weekend. That'd really be my goal. Make the Sweet 16 would be pretty cool. But, now with Michigan State losing 2 games, in theory, Michigan actually is back in the Big Ten title race, right? Because, there's Purdue and there's Michigan State now with 2 losses. I think Purdue only has 1 loss, if I'm right about that. So Michigan's back into it, and they get to host Purdue in a couple weeks, I believe it is, too. So suddenly, I thought there was really no chance of anything, but the breaks have bounced Michigan's way, obviously. Do I think they're the best team in the Big Ten? No, not with all these turnovers. It's crazy how sloppy they are. If they could just play a game where they would have under 10 turnovers, man, it'd be nice to see that. I think they did that against Penn State or something, but man, and that still just took a Trey Donaldson miracle last 2 minutes to win that game. So, meh. This team's just too much up and down. They're frustrating, just frustrating. They're a lot of fun, and then they're frustrating within 1 possession of each other. Hey, they get the win. 9-2 in the Big Ten slate. That's great. And, this is a game that they should win. You're glad to get the win, and, keep it going. Hey, guys, if you have any thoughts after this victory, Michigan gets it done. That's all that matters in the end, right? You got the win, improving your record. If you have any thoughts, put them in the box below. I'll try to respond as I'm able to. Thanks so much for watching. Until I see you guys next time. As always, go Blue.